in the nation's capitals, Black Lives Matter Plaza. And of course, when we talk about Black Lives Matter Plaza, you know, we broadcast from out there. Let's go ahead and show it. So, you know, we broadcast from out there. We were out there, of course, on the anniversary of the death of George Floyd. We've had the Floyd family out there as well. Talking about these issues, talking about his brutal death on that day, May 25th, 2020. And of course, here we are. This May will be the 5th anniversary. And guess what? That's about to be no more. Why is that? Well, because Republican out of Georgia, Andrew Clyde, he recently introduced House Resolution 1774 that seeks to remove the Black Lives Matter phrase from that plaza. If passed, the bill would withhold federal funding from Washington, D.C. unless Mayor Muriel Bowser removes it and designates the area as Liberty Plaza. Well, guess what? Mayor Muriel Bowser is capitulating to this. Quote, "We have long considered Black Lives Matter Plaza's evolution, and the plaza will be a part of DC's 250 mural project, where we will invite students and artists to create new murals across all 8 wards. The mural inspired millions and helped our city through a very painful period, reflecting on how the Black Lives Matter mural became a symbol during the protests against police brutality in 2020. But now we can't afford to be distracted by meaningless congressional interference. The devastating impacts of the federal job cuts must be our #1 concern. Our focus is on economic growth, public safety, and supporting our residents affected by these cuts." That was the statement that she released. I just got to go ahead and say it. That's a bullshit statement, Mayor. It's a bullshit statement. What you should be saying, Mayor Bowser, is Republicans, how dare you always talk about big government? How dare you always talk about local control? And now you want to tell the residents of D.C., who are not a state, who are taxpayers, who give their lives to this country, you're now telling us how we must conduct ourselves in this country. This is where the mayor should be rallying D.C. residents to let this Republican and Republican leadership know. In fact, what her statement should be saying is that I call House Speaker Mike Johnson to say, don't allow this to move forward. Don't bring it up as a bill. This is the capitulation I'm talking about. Liberty Plaza? That's what they want? And that's the statement? Well, you know, the job cuts are #1 priority. I understand #1 priority. But damn it, what's #2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20? What about the dignity of standing up for something? And let's be real clear, that wasn't meant to be temporary. And we know that. We know this. What this is, we gonna make y'all do whatever it is we want y'all to do. Bend over. Do what we want. We can run it. That's all this is. They're not fooling us. We know what they're trying to do. They've always used Washington, D.C. for their own purposes. They've always done that. And see, when I think about my native Houston, this is just outside of my high school, Jack Yates High School, where I graduated from, where George Floyd graduated from. And what they are saying is, so this is one Republican from Georgia telling DC how it should operate, and the mayor, oh yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and give in. I'm sorry, Julian. I expected more fight from Mayor Bowser than this.
You know what, Roland? So did I. I understand where she's coming from. I'm extremely and profoundly, as a DC resident, a victim of gentrification that I've called the mayor out on a number of times because she never met a gentrifier she didn't want to slow dance with. I'm disappointed. I do understand her reasoning. $300 million on the line. The district's finances are funny. She did go and kiss the Trump ring. And she welcomes workers back down to downtown, which has been relatively deserted at times, like lunchtime when, our restaurants, depend on patronage. But I think she had other options. I don't think she needed to capitulate so quickly. And I think the capitulation really speaks poorly as we look at the other mayors who were have been called in. Brandon Johnson from Chicago. Eric Adams has already capitulated just to stay out of jail. That's another story. The other Brandon from Baltimore. But the sanctuary cities mayors who are also being asked to capitulate, and some of them will and some of them won't. But here's what we know. If we all capitulate, we have nothing. And so, as I said, I appreciate Mayor Bowser. But I'm disappointed with her action, especially taken so quickly. Why you have to do it right now? Can't you wait a minute, girlfriend? Come on.
Oh, but Rebecca, something at least deserves some kind of pushback, not just, oh, okay.
Exactly.
Shout out to Councilmember Robert White, who actually spoke out about this last night in opposition to the mayor's decision. Here's the bottom line. To tell me that my Black Lives Matter is only temporary, to tell me that my Black Lives Matters is just a mural within the city that has so rapidly gentrified since I've lived in DC, and to where it's no longer Chocolate City because the rapid violence of gentrification in DC. I think that's what people need to understand, that gentrification is not just displacement, it is violent displacement. It's literally removing generations of people from where they lived. Like, if this was a Key and Peele sketch, like if I was pitching to them, I would say, you know what, if you're going to tell the story of DC, have a bunch of murals of Black people all around the city. And those are the former residents who used to live here. And then maybe at night they could come out and play around. And that's the thriller. That's the horror of what's happening within DC, because because many of the historic Black areas of DC are no more. But yes, you really can see murals of Black people in some of those neighborhoods where Black people used to live. And now they no longer do they live there, but they're no longer welcome there. And it's very unfortunate and it's very sad. Here's the thing. History teaches us that appeasement to authoritarian never works. It never ends successfully. And so I can even respect someone at first pushback. All of a sudden they roll over. And in essence, the city deserves a strong leader, a leader who will speak truth to power. It's one of the reasons why, I said even at the top of the show, we can't rely on political parties here. And remember, all power to the people. It has to be a people-led movement. The people have to push back because, unfortunately, we are seeing leaders, just like this decision that Mayor Bowser just made, that are making the wrong decisions in this moment.
Daniel, this was June 7th, 2020. This is a story that was on CNN. Civil rights icon John Lewis calls Black Lives Matter mural a powerful work of art during visit with DC Mayor. Remember, he actually visited this mural when he was died from pancreatic cancer. In fact, this is a tweet that the mayor had actually posted, and this is a photo of him overlooking that. Maybe Mayor Bowser needs to remember this.
Yeah, I mean, not only does she need to remember this, but I think those of us who are in Georgia are familiar with Mr. Clyde, who's not only an election denier, not only fought against shelter in place throughout the state of Georgia, is one of the same individuals that wanted to help lead the effort in Fort Benning. I mean, I grew up, my father was in the United States military. Fort Benning was named after a Confederate general, just like Fort Bragg. Both of those names were changed under the previous administration, and Fort Benning became Fort Moore. And now under the new leadership, we're spending more time talking about a street that was birthed out of not only the violence of gentrification, as my dear sister just mentioned, but a street that was laid on the backs and the blood of many civil rights leaders at a time where we're now seeing, and I hate to keep on bringing his name up, but Elon Musk liking a tweet, about giving a pardon to Derek Chauvin, who is the police officer responsible for the murder of George Floyd. We're seeing this in real time. We're seeing Confederate-based names being returned to where they were and excuses of why they're doing it. But yet and still, a congressman from my home state, which I'm ashamed to say, is now getting into politics outside hundreds of miles away from our state, not to focus on job security, not to focus on protecting veterans, not to focus on affordable housing, not to focus on veterans that are reliant on SNAP and other critical services and individuals around this country that are losing their job, but to focus on the street. And I think that's very telling of where their priorities are. Both of my colleagues today on this show, and including yourself, have been very adamant about where we are with this. There's nothing more to say. This is a reflection of where they stand, what their priorities are, and the lack thereof.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. And right now we're accepting investors in our $17 million round to revolutionize the future of social media. Today, for just $399, you can own 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $6.65 a share. Go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest today. While the big platforms have grown too massive and disconnected from their users, Fanbase is building a platform where creators and users truly come first. We've already raised $8.6 million from everyday investors who believe in this vision, and now you can join them. This is your chance to invest in a social media tech company with over 1 million users that is disrupting media by allowing anyone to reach all of their following and monetize their content from day one. The market is changing, big platforms are failing to serve their users, and Fanbase is stepping up to fill the gap. Don't wait until it's too late. Invest now. Invest for yourself and your future. Go to startengine.com/fanbase and own the future of social media.